guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while since I've done a makeup tutorial, but I thought that I would do one today. I have no makeup on my face right now. I just put on my First Aid Beauty lotion, and I have eyelash extensions on, so it's been a while since I've had eyelash extensions. You guys know that I love my falsies. I have a whole drawer of them, but I thought it might be good to just try extensions out again, and I've been loving them. It's been really easy in the morning to just get ready, and I feel like I can wake up, and if I need to run out the door, I just put some powder on and I do my brows, and that's it. So I like that a lot, but today I'm going to show you how I put on my makeup with my eyelash extensions on, which is really not that different at all. I don't have a specific look in mind, but let's just kind of play around with the shadows that I have and see where that goes. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm starting with the H2O Beauty Rapids Probiotic Mattifier. I like this a lot. It's like a gel consistency. I don't know if you guys can see that. And then it just mattifies your face. It feels super, super smooth. It's like a silicone type of feel. So I like to put that all over my T-zone, my forehead, on my nose, around my nose where I have like smile lines, and then just on my cheeks. And I feel like that really just smooths out the skin right before you put your foundation on, which is really important. Okay, so next I'm going to go in with my foundation. This is the Maybelline Matte and Poreless. I'm in the shade 238, which is Rich Tan. I'm probably going to have to change my shade in a little bit just because my skin's been kind of going crazy because of the weather change. I know it's getting a little bit warmer and sunnier, and then through the winter my skin gets a little bit more pale, so I'm going to have to change it. And it's hard for me to find my foundation. I don't know why I have such an issue with that, but that's like the main thing I can never find my shade in, is like any type of foundation. I'm going to use my beauty blender. This is supposed to be teal, which was my favorite color, but it's turned into like a forest green, which it is what it is. So I'm just going to pat this in, make sure I get up into my hairline and then down my neck. Okay, after my foundation, I'm going to go in with my favorite concealer, which is just the Maybelline Fit Me. Yes, the Fit Me concealer, and this one is in light. And I just like to take away any dark circles under my eyes. I like to bring it down my nose right here on my Cupid's bow, and then a little bit on my forehead. It's running out, so that's why I'm dipping it in so many times. And then I just blend all that out. Next, I'm going to go in with brows. I really like using the Anastasia Dipbrow Pomade. This one is in medium brown, and I really like using it with the Anastasia brush. This is the number 7 brush. I got it a long time ago. I know the number 12 brush is really good as well, but I feel like this one is smaller and I can just get right into my brows. So I'm going to start with that, but before that, I'm going to kind of prime my brows with the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel, and this works like glue. I like it because it doesn't dry down like instantly. It gives me time to still shape my brows and put the product on, but once it does dry down, it really holds your brows the entire day until I'm wiping them off. So I really, really like that. So I'm just going to dip my brush, the front and the back, into the pomade. And I'm going to take this cap. You can tell it's dirty because I've done this a million times, but I'm just going to dip some of the product off of it, just so there's not so much, and then that way kind of forms a firmer tip right here so that it's as pointed and as crisp as it can possibly be, so I can create thinner lines. So I'll bring you guys a little bit closer so you can see this part. All right, here's my face, and I'm just going to go in and start underlining the brow, and then I'm going to go in and create strokes. So you'll be able to see what I'm doing, and I'll walk you through it as well. So remember, whenever you put your brush down that first time, it's going to transfer the most product. So I try not to do it right here. Try to start in the middle and then just start to drag the product in and then out. That way that line is not super harsh right in the front and there's not that much color. So for the tail, I do like to put my brush down there first because I want it to be darker. And I don't know if some of you guys know or not, but my brows are microbladed. They are faded out, so I do have to do it again soon. But I did get them microbladed about 2 years ago, so that's why you can see there's still a little bit of tattooing. A lot of it is faded down, but I do want to get them reshaped. Okay, so I'm just combing through my brows right now. The Dipbrow is really just the foundation before I go in with the Brow Wiz and kind of do a little bit of detailing. So in the Brow Wiz, I like to use soft brown. This one is soft brown, and I like that it has a very pointed tip, so I can go in and just be a little bit more precise with the tail and then also the front of the brows here where I want to create a little bit of a soft line. Okay, so brows are pretty much done at this point. I'm just going to go in again with this concealer and a little flat concealer brush. I'm going to dip it in, and I feel like this is what makes the brows. Like, you can do your brows and you can fill them in, but if you add the concealer, it just makes it pop that much more. So I like to start right here and just kind of put the product down. And then I like to make sure that the tail is really sharp and that there's a bit of an arch right here so it brings my brows up. So I start there, kind of pat it down, and then I like to draw a line going diagonal down just to create that sharp edge. Of course, you should cater and customize this to your own brows or the way that you want your brows to look. This is just the way that I do my brows. And then I like to bring it up to the front to create a very thin, crisp line right here. Okay, so the brows are done. I'm going to go on to contour. Clearly, there's no shape or shadow to my face right now. I like two bronzers that are pretty much almost out. This one's the Benefit Cosmetics Hoola bronzer. I've been using this for years. The second one is from MakeupGeek, and this one's called Sunkissed. It's the Fair Skin bronzer, and it's literally all gone. I'm going to need a new one after this tutorial. But I'm just going to go in and use whatever is left. And I like to actually mix both of them together and then put it in on my face. And then I just start right here, and then I like to go in circular motions and blend it down to my cheeks. But each time I put product in, I always like to start out here, blend it up, blend it in, blend it down. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I like to go in with a little brush. This one is the MAC 231, and I just like to take a little bit of the bronzer and then go onto the sides of my nose, just contour my nose a little bit. I feel like this brings out the highlight that I'm about to put on the bridge of my nose, and then it just kind of goes along with all of the rest of the contour that's on my face. I like to bring it up to my brows, just a little bit, and then down here, just to shape the bottom of the nose. So when I'm done with contour, I like to go in with blush right after, and this is the Amazonian Clay Tarte Paarty blush, and I'm just going to go in with this Tarte brush and just sweep that onto the apples of my cheeks. I like this because it also blends right into the contour, and I feel like it creates this nice, warm kind of glow. And then right after that, I like to just bake the contour right after I put it on. I feel like that's when it works the best, and I really like this Kat Von D Lock-It powder. What is this called? This is the Lock It Setting Powder in Translucent, and this is just the puff that it came with. So I like to tap a little bit of it out into the cap, and then I take, so I like to take the edge of this puff, dip it in a little bit, start at my lips, and then drag it up towards my ears. And then when I wipe it away, it just creates a very crisp, thin line. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of concealer on my eyes just because I ran out of an eye primer, and concealer works just as well. So I like to dip that onto my eyelids and just pat that out with one of my fingers. I want to make sure to get into the creases of my eyes. Same thing on the other side. So I am going to go in with eyeshadow next. I am going to do a little bit more of a neutral eye because that's what I'm feeling right now, as I normally am. Let's see. I'm going to take the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. This is one of my favorite palettes. And I'm going to use these two shadows right here. It's Raw Sienna and Burnt Orange. I'm just going to go in with one of my clean, fluffy brushes. So I'm going to take this fluffy brush. It's the Morphe M441. I'm going to dip it in actually both of them. And then just focus it on the outer edges of my eyes. I can literally see the powder on my sleeve. And then I'm just going to use circular motions. I know some people like to use windshield wiper motions, which is like that. But I feel like my eye doesn't really have much of a crease to it. And if you can relate to this, let me know in the comments below. But I feel like it's not hooded and it just doesn't have that much of a crease going on. So I kind of have to create a crease of my own. So I like to use small circular motions, and I like to just blend that out. So when I blend, I don't just blend in the area that I put it in. I kind of blend it to the left, to the right, up and down. I just want to make sure that it's good and blended. And I'm just focusing that right on that outer crease area. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side too. So I love this orangey yellow shade right here from MakeupGeek. It's called Chickadee, and I'm just going to tap it lightly into my brush and just kind of use that as a transition shade. I like the way that it makes all of the colors pop, especially if I put it like right on the outer edges of my eyes. So that I'm just going to use right along the outside of those first two shades from the Anastasia palette. And here's a tip I like to mention in all of my tutorials. Make sure you have an extra clean brush. And before you move on to any darker colors, just go ahead and use that clean brush and just make sure everything is exceptionally blended before you move on. And this ensures that everything's blended at the end of your makeup look and everything just ties together seamlessly. Okay, so I am going to move on to my next shade. I'm going to use a smaller brush. This is a Smith 230 brush. It looks like that, just nice and tapered but smaller. And I am going to take, this is the MakeupGeek in the Nude palette. I know I'm using a lot of different palettes, but these are just regular neutral colors. So if you just have like a light orange or a light brown, you can use that to kind of dupe these shades. And then if you just have a regular cool chocolate brown, you can just use that for this next shade that I'm going to use. It doesn't have to be the exact same shadows, just kind of eyeball it and see if you have anything in your collection. They're all fairly common neutral colors. So I'm going to go in and just focus it right on this outer area right here. I'm just going to bring it up a little bit because, again, I'm really trying to create this faux crease look on my eyes. So I want my darker colors to be right on the outside of my eyes where the crease would be. So I'm just going to do that again in very, very small circular motions. I'm going to just bring this up and down along the crease of both of my eyes, and I'm going to continue to do that. Maybe add 2 or 3 layers just to build the intensity of it. I really like this brown. It's not too chocolatey and it's not too cool toned either, so you can use it with a variety of colors. And with this crease color, I like to bring it up and then over just a little bit so that there's a little bit of a curve. So if you can kind of see that, I'm just bringing it up and over just a little bit. I don't want it to be too dramatic, so I don't want it to look unrealistic, but I also want it to create a nice shadow on the outside of my eyes. Okay, so I've added about 2 or 3 layers of that darker brown. And again, before I go in with any other colors, I just like to use a nice clean brush and just blend that in. Don't be afraid to take time and just really, really blend, especially if you want to take pictures of your makeup afterwards. I think it's really, really important. It's one step that you're definitely not going to regret once you're done with your makeup. So when I do go up a shade, I like to use the shade that I used before just to blend that out again. So I'm going to go in with both of these shades, just combine them again, and then go in. And then I don't want to leave my front lids blank like that. It still shows a little bit of the concealer that I put on. So I'm going to go in with just a lighter brown shade. This one is Latte by MakeupGeek, and this one is Tan Lines. They're both by MakeupGeek, and I'm just going to use a flat shader brush. This one is the Sigma E55 Eye Shading Brush. I love this one just to pick up a product. And I'm going to just kind of combine those two soft and neutral brown shades. You can use anything similar in your own collection. I'm just going to bring that in on the front of my lids, right there near the inner corners. I am going to use that brush that I used, that original Chickadee shade, just because I do want this to show right on the outer edges of the shadow. So I am going to go in and blend that out once again. So for the lashes, I'm going to go in with that same brown. I like to focus it right on the outer edges first, and then I'll blend it out. And then the same thing I would do on the bottom, I would do on the top, just going in again with the transition shades and blending it out so that there are no harsh lines at the bottom lash line or on the lid. Okay, so I'm going to finish off with the inner corners and the brow bone highlight, and my favorite highlight to use is the Shimma Shimma by MakeupGeek, and I like to just pack that onto a small brush. This is a Luxie brush. It's the 111 mini flat angled brush, and it is the perfect mini angled brush because it just has a flat edge right there where I can go in on the brow bone and just put that highlight on. I love the way that Shimma Shimma looks under my brows. Okay, so that is the highlighted eyes, and for the lashes, I just like to kind of comb them out because they're extensions, and I'm just going to use a little mascara comb. I normally like to go through like this, brush away any fallout if it's fallen onto the lashes, and then comb them through. Okay, and then my last step is highlighter. So my favorite highlighter right now is the Maybelline Master Chrome by Maybelline. And I'm just going to use a tapered highlight brush. This is the Morphe M510 brush. And I'm just going to swirl that in there a few times. And apply that to the high points of my cheekbones. I'm going to add a few layers of this, and I'm actually going to add another highlighter on top of it. I like to bring this down my bridge of my nose, and then I like to use my finger for the Cupid's bow right here. And then the tip of my nose right there. Okay, the last step is going in with a powder highlight. I feel like this just brings out the luminosity of the highlight. So I'm just going to dip a little bit of that into the cap. This is what it looks like. It's from Artist Couture, and it's in the shade Illuminate. And I just like to dip, you really need like the tiniest little bit. But look at the glow. Oh my gosh, I love this highlight. It's beautiful. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side right here. I like to bring that up in like a seaward motion. And then for my lips, I'm going to use the MakeupGeek Plush lipstick. This is in Jetsetter. And right on top of it, I'm going to mix in the Smashbox Always On liquid lipstick. Alright, and that is the final look. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching this makeup tutorial with me. I know it was very soft and simple, neutral look, but I hope you guys enjoyed it nonetheless. Let me know if you have any specific eye makeup tutorials or just videos in general that you'd like to see on my channel. I'm getting back into the process of filming, but in the meantime, you can always follow me on Instagram. I post on there pretty much daily, and that's just stay_beautiful with 2 F's, and I'll leave the links and the products, descriptions, and everything down below, so you can check that out if you want to see what I used in order and everything like that. So thank you again so much, and I hope to see you guys back soon next time. Bye!